Yeah, I was 18 years old in the middle of the Tennessee farm boy, and like that. Dad got the bright idea of putting in cotton 2 or 3 times, and I'd had enough of that. And when I was graduating from high school, I told him, I said, I'll help you plant this cotton. If you put it in again, but I'm darn sure I'm not going to be here to pick it. I don't think he believed me. So we put the cotton in, got the cotton in, all the crops put in and everything. And I promptly walked down to the draft office and I said, draft me. I've had enough. I went to basic training in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, September 1966. You know, and it was kind of comical. I was in good shape. I raised on a farm, pretty good. Now, half of us were from Tennessee at basic training, half of us from Chicago. And it was kind of, you know, what some of the guys were dying trying to do, I was kind of laughing at. You know, it was pretty easy for me like that. We went out to the rifle ranges, and I shot expert. I've been raised with a rifle my whole life. And like that, some of those guys didn't know which end to want to hold it in the beginning. But, you know, I think I hit every target at 450 yards of open sights. 450 yards, yeah.
God, much.
And so,
4 football
That's
fields.
crazy.
then I went to Panama Canal Zone, Jungle Warfare and Survival School, run by the 7th Special Forces Group. Like that, they kind of wear you out down there. Yeah. You're out there in it, a knife and a rope and a net, and that's about it. Chloride pills, malaria pills. Panama's got some of the heaviest jungle in the world. A lot of people don't realize that. And got some unique trees. Some of them you can hit with a machete and it looks like sparks would fly off of it. Some of them square, and some of them were called black palms, but the bark was white, but it had black thorns on it about that long. That if you grabbed one at night when you was out there, to run through your hands. You know, there's nothing like going to war in America. You're on a plane. Flying Tiger was the airline. We were on a 707. Boeing, the same plane that civilians were flying from New York to California. We had stewardesses. Going to war with stewardesses on a Boeing 707. Imagine that. Like, and it takes you 23 hours to get there. In that 23 hours, probably 22 hours was dead silence. There was a lot of personal thinking going on. We landed at Tan Son Nhut Air Base in Saigon. Started filing off the plane, and the first thing I noticed, all the stewardesses were crying. And then you go over and you go, maybe there's something real to this. And you're going over there and you see through an open door in a hangar, American coffins with flags on them, fixing to be loaded to go back. And reality starts setting in. But one of the first things that really, really hits you was the smell. When you walk out, the smell, you'll remember it till the day you die. The heat, the humidity would just take your breath away. And then they put us on buses, 2 buses to what they call the 90th Replacement Center, to where you'd be designated to units. The buses had bars across the windows. We had gun jeeps in front of us and behind us. And okay, we're going to war. You know, there's some real dying taking place over here. And as you drive through the city, through Saigon, you're looking at the faces of the people, and you don't see nothing very friendly. You see a lot of people just looking different, and then you see some looks that thinks, that guy might be Viet Cong. He might be my enemy. We're sitting right here. Which one of y'all is for me? Which one of y'all is against me? No. It's hard to tell. Got out there a certain distance, a little clearing out there, and there's the gardens out there. I figured, okay, this is slave labor. They're growing food for the Viet Cong and then VA that's out here. You know, they've been forced to this. And then there were some guys in that group too, and those guys, I said, these guys look pretty hardened, but I couldn't see no weapons. And actually, I took my M16, leaned out the window, and we got down to about 700 feet, and I fired a few rounds close to a couple of them dudes, trying to get them to do something stupid, and they didn't. But during that whole course, Well, we flew over, and I was looking down, trying to make up her mind. There was a woman looked up, and she had sheer terror on her face. And you know, this is what we're doing. These people just want to live their lives. They could care less about capitalism. They could care less about communism. They just want to be left the hell alone. They knew they was in a free fire zone. They knew we had, for lack of a better term, that the angel of death was looking down at them, not knowing what we was going to decide, and had her kids with her. And that image stuck in my mind to this day. I saw an interesting statistic once. The average soldier in World War II, if they were in the military from 42 through 45, saw 40 days of combat. The average soldier in Vietnam that went in the field saw 240 days of combat in 1 year. There was no safe place in Vietnam. I don't care where you was at. Like that, rockets and mortars would reach you, and they would fire them. Like that, I had one rocket launcher close to me that, well, I got hearing aids. And like that, the 122 rockets, they just scared the bejesus out of me. You could be in the thickest bunker there was, and if one of them hit it, it opened it up like a tin can.